Hi, I'm Nicole Ramirez. I'm from Garland, Nebraska. I'm 23 years old. I have been traveling with Teresa for about 5 years, so there's a lot of mission trips in there. Actually, when I knew we were going to go to Nicaragua again, and I did not want to go, there was a lot of things that I was working out with God and myself, and a lot of just pride issue, a lot of holding on to things that I shouldn't have been. And it took a really good group of friends that I had to kind of enlighten me on that I really needed to go. And there was a lot of reasons why I think the enemy didn't want me to go, looking back now. I was initially really nervous about fundraising. A lot of the trips before that I've been on, I've always been able to put a little bit of my own money. And this time, just due to life, work, all the things, I wasn't able to. And it was really leaning on God on funding me 100%, and He did. And then about a month or so before we left, I got promoted, and my job title just requires a lot of me. It requires a lot of just time consuming that I couldn't really leave. But I had to, and it was really stressful before I had to leave. I'll give two, like for myself, with the team that we went on, God really showed me the pride that I hadn't been dealing with. I've used a lot of what I went through, and I fight back a lot in my relationships and friendships, and it was a really important factor to God to show me that I can't no longer do that, especially walking into a covenant of marriage. I can't fight back anymore. And He really showed me that with the people that I was staying in my own room with, which really impacted me, and I can really leave and improve on that in all of my other relationships. But I kind of took a back seat in watching God really work in children. It's not that I didn't know that He could work in children that way, but seeing the Holy Spirit be so present in 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, had a kid fully pray for an adult, like it was nothing, like it was all the Holy Spirit. I got to baptize a kid in the Holy Spirit. Like all that is not something that I never thought I could experience, and God really showed me that in a really neat way. Kind of living in the Hispanic culture, I am used to, my own grandma lives in a place where she doesn't have warm water. So it's something I am used to seeing. I think the way I've experienced it is I've always struggled to see the gratitude in it and not sit in kind of your mistakes, sit in what the hurt is, and like sit in a struggle, and seeing that these people don't, if they don't have running water, if they don't have a toilet, it's literally nothing on their shoulders. And I think that's a really cool thing to see about their culture. They don't have a church building, and it's not something that they're constantly like, oh, we don't have this, we don't have this. It's not a complaint, it's not an issue, it's a God's got this, and it's a really cool perspective to see in their culture. Food. No, really. For the many times that I've traveled, our food sucks. It's so processed, and like my body takes a toll. Like I've slept so long. I slept till 2 p.m. today. Like, yeah, it drains me coming back to the food here. Honestly, I think being served, as like people that like travel, we serve and serve and serve the entire time, and it's really special that we get to wake up to breakfast, that we get to wake up to dinner. I barely cook dinner for myself, so having someone cook dinner for me, it was probably the coolest thing, and I really miss that. I think as humans that especially I think Midwestern Nebraska, we're so caught up in our daily lives, we're so caught up in our own church, in our own jobs and our own things. I think we sometimes miss the point that the nations are also a really important factor, that seeing a different culture, seeing a different point of view, seeing how other people live their jobs, work on their daily life, that opens your eye to even honestly being grateful about things you have here. And I think it's really important. I think every person should either leave their hometown once or leave the country and spend a week in a different country to really experience what it is to not live in America and be grateful for what we have here in America. I think a story that I will always relive this moment in my head time and time again is when we were in Super Church and we were kind of closing up, and I had all the other volunteers look at me and they're just like, it's time to go. And I couldn't get out of the presence of the Lord in that moment, seeing kids cry, seeing people pray. And so I just continued there for another 15 minutes and didn't have no care in the world. But I had one kid that I had been ministering to that day, and he came and just cried on my shoulder, and I just got to pray for him, and he got baptized in the Holy Spirit. And it was just really cool I honestly felt so overwhelmed. I was crying too. I couldn't get myself out of that either. We were just both in this ball of tears. That was something really impactful to forever just keep my back pocket.